Welcome to the Dr. Sol Adoni Show. Fans of Dr. Sol Adoni call him the great genius, a figure that Nostradamus wrote about. His theories in math and astrophysics are used by government agencies. His theory E has proven Newton and Einstein are wrong. His prime algorithm is used by the NSA. His planetary distance formula is used by NASA to find new planets. His EOE theory is used by the USGS in earthquake prediction modeling. He founded 2 different think tanks, including HelixQ, the artificial intelligence think tank. Dr. Adoni is the founder of the cryptocurrency BizBytes. Dr. Adoni is also the founder of the One Media Network. One Media produces dozens of podcast shows for the iPodcast network.
This is Dr. Sol Adoni. Welcome to another segment of the Dr. Sol Adoni Show. You can find more segments at soladoni.com and ipodcast.org. Soladoni.com is SOLADONI.com. This is Dr. Sol Adoni. Today I'm going to be discussing the coronavirus death projections by my AI think tank HelixQ. And I'll be discussing the latest figures about coronavirus. This is my site, soladoni.com. That's SOLADONI.com. Go there, you'll see all kinds of videos. Done over 20 videos since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. Written over 100 books in my life, and I have a lot of mathematical astrophysics theories out there. My think tank is HelixQ. That's like the helix symbol in DNA with the letter Q, quantum. So HelixQ, helixquantum.org. You can see here our latest projections issued May 1st. So we're going to have over 400,000 dead globally by June 1st. June 1st, we're looking at 120,000 dead in the USA. Last month, we were pretty much spot on. We gave a projection, then we adjusted it the middle of the month. And what we adjusted it to was spot on. Okay, so month projections are a little hard because of all the lockdowns that were happening around the world. The United States had a lot of success last month with the lockdown, but now they didn't renew the Trump mandate to lock down, so things are opening up and the virus is now back on track to kill 120,000 people by June 1st. Fauci had said there'd be only 60,000 dead last month by August. We had said there'd be 65,000 dead by May 1st, and we were right. So if you want to look at the top site for coronavirus data, it's the worldometer.info. That's world with the letter O and then meters, worldometers.info. We'll hit refresh on the site. And you see there's almost 4 million infected. Almost 300,000 have died. Only good news is the percentage of death to cured has dropped down from mid-20s down to about 17%. So we're now finding out that not as many people are dying who are being exposed. Most of the deaths in the United States, a third, are in senior care facilities. So It's definitely the older population, over 70, that's most impacted by this, and minorities in northern climate in the United States, just like the UK, minorities, darker skinned people, are having a real problem with the virus. People are saying it's because the majority of them are poor. That's not the issue. The issue is the darker skin doesn't absorb vitamin D properly. So it's vitamin D deficiencies that minorities, people of color, have in northern climates. So vitamin D is essential to the immune system, as is zinc. And you'll also see a lot of the poor countries that have heavy zinc pollution in their water supplies, they're not being that impacted. So that's the good thing about being poor. And some of the hotter third world nations, India and such, that the heavy zinc concentration in the water is protecting the poor in some third world nations. Now you go back in here and see recent deaths. Go to world of meters. Here's a page about their graphs, and you can see the graphs. So this is worldometers. Okay, and we just click on daily deaths. You'll see this chart. Now today is May 7th, about 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, PM. Yesterday, May 6th, it's almost 7,000 deaths globally. Now, as a result of the lockdowns, we'd actually dropped down to a 1% daily increase on the 3rd. So the lockdown started easing the end of April. We were at 3%, we dropped down to 1%, and now we're already back up to 3%. Now, when there were no lockdowns way back in March, the daily increase was very high, 13%, 14%, 15%. Now, when you're running at 15% daily increases, it's literally a few months and you've burned through your whole world population. Even at 3%, if this number, 265,000 increases 3% daily, it doesn't take that many months before 7 billion people are dead. So this thing is still running at an extinction level event, even at 3%. Now we'll go get a scientific calculator. You go to Google scientific calculator. You'll see here we can put in 265,000, and we'll multiply that by 1.03, which is 3%. And then you use this little X function key, and that'll allow us to say how many days. So let's just go out a year, 365 days at 3%. We're talking about 12 billion people. Well, there's only 7.5, 8 billion people on the planet. So if we don't keep this 3% down, people, less than a year, everyone's dead. Problem with this calculation is it doesn't appear that everyone is dying from this. It does target mostly older people over 70, minorities who are older, and people who have compromised immune systems. So a lot of people appear to be not dying quickly from this pandemic. However, the long-term effect is unknown. There were some reports that it reactivates, it stays in the body, people get reinfected. Now they're saying that that wasn't true. So no one can really say if the long-term effect of this is completely fatal. Short-term, it appears that a pretty high percentage of the population, 3% up to maybe even possibly 20%, may die pretty quickly from this virus on first contact. So we're going to see a lot of dead people. If it's 3% people, we're looking at, hundreds of millions of people are going to be dead. If it's a third of the population, you're talking about multiple billions of people dead. So that's where we're at right now, trying to figure out exactly what is the final mortality rate for this virus. And right now, as it's chugging along, lockdowns are being lifted. So now my think tank HelixQ says easily 400,000 are dead globally. With yesterday's death count of 7,000, 6811, well, yeah, that's going to be dead on, spot on. United States, go into the USA and look at their data. Yesterday, the United States had a very high death count day. So we got over 75,000 dead already in the United States. Deaths to recovered, still in the mid-20s. And we go down here and see daily death counts. You can see the daily death count had been going down, now it's back up. 2,528 yesterday. So we had a lot of deaths yesterday. It had been dropping, but now that people are going out and protesting and wearing no masks, the death count in the United States is going to be spiraling out of control. So all these people that are out there wearing no masks, you're killing people. That's the bottom line. You go outside, wear a mask. Because you might have no symptoms, but you could have the disease, the virus, and pass it on to someone who then gives it to an older person, and the older person's going to die. So anyone not wearing a mask, consider yourself a murderer at this point. The virus is still heavily in the community. It's been growing. Almost 100,000 cases a day for the past month, and that's going to go up now that countries are lifting lockdowns. So these countries are all picking to save their economies over their citizens. So now we're going to see millions of people die from this virus. The only question is, will it be billions? This is a very contagious virus. I've been covering it now since the beginning. Wuhan. You can go to my channel. On YouTube, you look for Sol Adoni, and this is my channel, Sol Adoni.com. So it's YouTube user Sol Adoni.com. And you look on the videos, under the video tabs, and you'll see dozens of videos going back months. We did a lot of projection on death counts before lockdowns happened. And luckily, a lot of nations, most of the nations, locked down their populations after we were warning about it. Now the nations are unlocking, and a lot of people are going to die. I guess they understand that it's mostly attacking older people with health issues, and these people, I guess, can be viewed as a drain on resources. Most of them are retired or disabled, so they're not productive citizens. So you're having a depopulation of people who just basically don't work anymore. Luckily, it doesn't seem to be affecting the young, at least not at a very high percentage. People in their 20s and 30s seem to not have too much of an issue with it. Some might get a bad, week or two. of being sick, but they recover. And it's the people basically over 60, particularly over 70 and 80, that when they're exposed to this, they die. Also, the minorities in colder cities like New York, Chicago, Philly, London, etc. Anybody who has a darker skin, blacks, Hispanics, even some Middle Eastern dark-skinned people. In the cold climates, your body doesn't absorb vitamin D properly, so you're vitamin D deficient, and that's an immune system issue. So supplement with some vitamin D, try to supplement with zinc, start eating a lot of fresh vegetables, and be careful, people. You should really stay in if you can, work from home if you have to work, and try to stay away from the older people in your family while this is still going around, because they easily die from this virus. You go back to my site, soladoni.com, and you can see all my work on this epidemic, this pandemic. This was Dr. Sol Adoni. Have a great day. To listen to more podcasts from Dr. Sol Adoni, you can visit soladoni.com or ipodcast.org.